to be better. This team, of course, feels the same way as the one 71 years ago. It will only matter if it all ends with a parade. MSG is the network for New York Yankees baseball, and we welcome you back to the most historic place in sports. At Yankee Stadium tonight, the Yankees begin a 4-game stretch that will carry them to the end of the 1998 season. For the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, it'll be veteran Wilson Alvarez with a disappointing season with some injuries. Lately, he's been pitching better. And David Wells gets his last chance to find a groove, preparing for Tuesday night's beginning of the postseason here in the Bronx. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Trowick. In a moment, we'll get you upstairs to Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. But tonight, we get a chance to watch Shane Spencer play another game. And for all the anticipation that Shane has created with all his at-bats, the Yankee Stadium fans will likely give him the same reception that they did last night. Every time he came up, they responded. And he nearly hit for the cycle. In addition to this long home run, there was a double and a single, so he only missed by not getting a triple. But quite clearly, Shane Spencer is making a mark on the Yankees, and Joe Torre now with only 4 games to go before the postseason arrives. Last night he went 3 for 4. This after the doubleheader day when he went 5 for 7. And in 23 games, he's hitting a very, very snazzy .415 with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. Well, he'll be in right field tonight. The New York Yankees stand poised to venture into uncharted territory as far as this franchise goes. And because it's the winningest team in the history of baseball, it's pretty amazing stuff. Let's go upstairs to Jim and Ken.
Thanks a lot, Al. And if the Yankees do attain that all-time franchise record of 111 wins, it'll be up to the bullpen tonight to probably close it down. David Wells isn't going to pitch 9 innings, so let's take a look at the Yankee bullpen.
Well, the bullpen was in effect last night, and they got some good pitching, particularly from the left-handed Graham Lloyd, who a lot of people thought might be on the bubble as far as postseason is concerned. He came in and got 2 tough left-handed hitters, including Jim Thome. And Graham Lloyd, with reception to the dugout from his teammates, pitched very well in last night's ball game. Another pitcher, Darren Holmes, has been out for a lot of the season with a bad back. He was on the mound for the final outs of the game as a double play was turned. If you look at his reaction, he has pitched well since coming off the disabled list.
And that's a look at how the bullpen has performed all year, led by Mariano Rivera with 36 saves out of 41 opportunities. Mike Stanton did so well when Mariano was on the DL early. Joe Torre would like to see Jeff Nelson sharpen up a little bit this last weekend. He'll probably get a chance to pitch some in tonight's ball game. So it's the last weekend series of the regular season. The Yankees going for that all-time franchise record of 111 wins. David Wells with a glimmer of hope to win the Cy Young Award will start tonight. We'll have it for you when we come back.
It makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers.
Great time of the year in and around the city. First day of fall yesterday, and as Al Troutwig said, David Wells' last tune-up before the division series. Looks like he's honoring Babe Ruth tonight with those old conventional pants tucked up around the knees. Here's the lineup he'll face. Devil Rays, not known for scoring a lot of runs, will lead it off with Speedy Randy Wynn, Quentin McCracken, then Bobby Smith, the veteran Fred McGriff, Bubba Trammell, Aaron Ledesma, the ex-Met, bottom thirds Mike Kelly, Miguel Cairo, and John Flaherty.
Let's check out the Yankees defensively. Behind David Wells tonight. In the infield, it's going to be Brosius, Jeter, Knobloch, and Soho. In the outfield, Curtis Williams and Spencer. Jorge Posada does the catching. And David Wells is on the mound. Luis Soho made a nice play in last night's ball game. I think we usually think of Luis Soho playing second, short, third. Maybe not as much at first, but he handled a nice play on that double play last night at the end of the ball game.
First pitch. Well out of the strike zone. That's unusual for David Wells. As you see his numbers, the Yankees are actually 24-5 in the games that he has started. And when you look at the walk strikeout ratio, 26 walks, 158 strikeouts. That's fouled straight back, 1-1. It is the high. Get this. It is the highest strikeout to walk ratio of any left-hand pitcher this century. That's how good his control has been. Leads the American League in average innings per start, in fewest walks per 9 innings, and fewest base runners. In for a strike, 1-2. Pedro Martinez, who along with Wells probably the other candidates to win the Cy Young other than Clemens. Quick check in the scouting report.
Walks are taboo. You just saw it. Fastball on target. Multiple finishing pitches, including a cutter, a slider, and a changeup.
Went with the high smoke, and John Shulak, the veteran umpire, said, yes, you did go around Randy Wynn, and Wells starts the game with a strikeout.
You know, you put a fastball up in the hitter's eyes, and they see it so well, and it's hard for them to lay off. And you get a lot of strikeouts on pitches that ride up in the zone. Hitters that just think, oh, I see it. They go for it, and they realize it's not in the strike zone.
Another example of why we should have the high strike back in the game. That strikeout right there. Here's Quentin McCracken, who's had a good year for these first-year Devil Rays. Ex-Colorado Rocky takes the fastball outside for a ball.
Yeah, McCracken got a hit in last night's ball game, and by doing so, he now has the most hits ever by a first-year expansion player, 176 hits. That's one more than Charlie Hayes had for the 1993 Colorado Rockies.
Good overhand hook in for a strike, 1-1. A very comfortable 64 degrees in the Bronx. And who better than David Wells, with all of his thoughts of Babe Ruth. And tonight, of course, the 64th anniversary of the last game that Babe Ruth played as a member of the Yankees here at the stadium. I think that's why Boomer's got the high tops going, the high socks. Who better than him to start the game if the Yankees win would be the all-time winning total, all-time franchise high, 111 wins.
I'm surprised he doesn't have one of those threes on his back taped over.
If he could get by with it, he would. Swinging strikeout, 2 for Wells to start the game.
Now we talked about the finishing pitches. This looked more like a cutter than the fastball. Posada shifts to the inside. See that ball with the downward and in movement. That's an ankle biter right there, and it's strike 3.
Umpire lineup brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation. Most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. John Shulak is the chief, then Tim Cheetah, Brian O'Nora, and Rick Reed's behind the plate. Swinging strike 1 by Bobby Smith, and that is a problem that Tampa Bay will try to solve. They love the skills of Bobby Smith. He's got 11 home runs, but a pretty free swinger and a little difficult time making contact.
Yeah, 104 strikeouts and 359 at-bats.
Oh, quickly 0-2. He'll be in there tomorrow. Wade Boggs chasing that 3,000 hit total. He'll come up a little short this year. And the crowd would like to see Wells strike out the side to start this ball game. In the dirt, 1-2.
Another thing that Wells, when he gets in a rhythm, I mean, he can't wait to get the ball back so he can get it back in there, just get the sign and go. And he's dictating the pace of the game that way.
As he's done all year. Got him. Struck out the side, 2 swinging, 1 called. Tuning up for next Tuesday's start in the division series. Off to a great start. Yankees coming to bat against lefty Wilson Alvarez when we come back. Chili Davis, Shane Spencer, and Jorge Posada. Chad Curtis, Scott Brocious, Luis Soho. They're brought to you by Bob Stores. Great buys on brands you wear.
Well, the Devil Rays behind Wilson Alvarez. Going to be Smith, Ledesma, Cairo, and McGriff in the infield. McCracken, Wynn, and Kelly, pretty good speed in the outfield. They have a fine defensive ball club. John Flaherty's behind the plate. You're looking at Quentin McCracken out in left field. We talked about his hitting prowess this year with Tampa Bay. He is actually tied for the league lead in assists as an outfielder. Started the year in center field, now playing left field with Randy Wynn taking over in center.
Second lowest error total in the American League. As you look at Alvarez numbers, just the opposite of David Wells. He is usually among the leaders in base on balls. 1993 led the American League, and in his career about 4.5 walks per 9 innings. The strikeout potential is there, and he has a no-hitter to his credit in his career back in 1991. Good overhand curveball, and he'll face Knobloch to start the ball game. High for a ball. Still wearing the elbow pad on the left arm where he was struck by a pitch 2 nights ago. That's just there for precautionary measures, a little bruise.
You know, but if I'm Knobloch, I think I wouldn't give that up.
In the air, right center. Kelly and Wynn converge, and now Wynn at the last minute makes the call and the catch, 1 down.
Because Knobloch has that front elbow stationed almost right over the inside corner, and see those running fastballs, those are the ones that get him. You see that right almost straight down on the inside corner as we watch him follow through on the swing. And look, a little miscommunication here. Randy Wynn was saying something, but looked like he was looking towards Mike Kelly to make the catch. They have great speed. Wynn can really run. So can Kelly, and McCracken out there in left field is no slouch either. All great former college stars. Mike Kelly from Arizona State. Randy Wynn actually was a terrific basketball player as well at Santa Clara. And Quentin McCracken at Dookie. Jeter takes inside for a ball. A football player at Duke. Yeah. Going back to your point on Knobloch, if it's comfortable swinging the bat like Mo Vaughn does, if you can get all that armor on you can handle, boy, it just it gives you more confidence to dive into that inside pitch, not worry about getting nicked. It's outside, 2-0. Derek's average at 325, 10 points behind his teammate Bernie Williams, who leads the league. Mo Vaughn 3 points behind Bernie. I think Derek, again, we saw it last night, couple balls hit in the air, would love to get that 20th home run. Swung through the fastball there, and it's 2-1. All-time Yankee record for a shortstop. He was telling me before the game, though, he says, I need some hits. 2 away from 200. That's a good swing there, fouled out of play, and it's 2-2. Holy cow! The scooter. Speaking of good Yankee shortstops, happy birthday to the scooter. Wish we'd see him around here a little more. Yeah. That backs Jeter off the plate, and the count is full. .200 hit season for Derek Jeter in the offing. You know, you mentioned the fact that he's a little bit down the list as far as the batting title. 325, 10 points behind. That's a little tough to make up. Good live fastball there. Jeter swings through it, and there's 2 down in the Yankee first. 10 points a little tough to make up in 4 days. This time of year, you have so many at bats. Even when you get a hit, you don't move up a point. Bernie Williams going to keep on. See a little nod out there, I think, to Wilson Alvarez. Kind of a how you do it. Bernie from Puerto Rico, Alvarez from Venezuela. They've done battle several times. Bernie going to keep on piling up the at-bats and try to earn that American League batting title. In for a strike. I think the fan with the happy birthday Scooter sign might not be at tomorrow's game, so they came a night early because Scooter's birthday. Actually, tomorrow's scouting report on Alvarez. He can heat it up. He's got a good fastball. More walks to left-handed hitters than strikeouts. I thought that was interesting, but the Yankees do not have a left-handed hitter in the lineup tonight. O'Neill and Tino Martinez sitting out. They get tonight off. They'll be in there tomorrow night against ex-Yankee Dave Island. He's going to start for the Devil Rays tomorrow night. Had a good year down at Durham, their AAA affiliate. High and outside, 1-2. Yeah, Alvarez is the all-time winningest pitcher from Venezuela. Got 77 career wins. And Kitty, you mentioned that no-hitter that came in his second major league game.
Yeah. Against your old club. Ooh, that was a close pitch there. A little low, said Rick Reed. 2-2. And you mentioned from Venezuela. Venezuela known more as a country that produces shortstops.
Yeah.
Like Luis Aparicio and Luis Sojo and Ozzie Guillen, Davey Concepcion. Yeah. But not a lot of pitchers from Venezuela. Grounded toward first base. Fred McGriff retreats. He'll toss to Alvarez in time. And Wilson Alvarez has a 1-2-3 inning to match David Wells. Fred McGriff will be coming to bat against David Wells when we come back on MSG. No score at the stadium. By Citibank. Use Citibank's new PC banking to place orders to trade stock for as little as $19.95 per trade. That's a better bargain than you can get for them trading someone like this guy. But how about John Schuerholz, and the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, I think deserves a lot of credit. Fred McGriff, and you see his numbers, was a great part of Atlanta's success when they acquired him from San Diego. As he swings through the fastball, strike one, but very timely they let him go and picked up Andres Galarraga, and he's done better really than McGriff was doing.
Well, you know, I think you have to, when you compare the two, I mean, Andres Galarraga certainly has more opportunities of men on base. Not to say that McGriff wasn't on the down slide. I think he was a bit, and they did make a good move in getting Galarraga. Galarraga is actually older than Fred McGriff. But then Galarraga is better defensively. But I would think when you got Chipper Jones and Walt Weiss and all those players around you, McGriff doesn't have that type of offense around him. So it might be a little tougher to produce runs. Yeah,
this as far as this year is concerned. But
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, general managers have to make that decision. You know, when do I get rid of a guy? Just before his peak time, fastball up and in, 1-1. David Wells will hook up next Tuesday night, it appears, with the Rangers sweeping the Angels, with somebody like maybe Rick Helling or John Burkett, maybe even Mel Stottlemyre's son, Todd Stottlemyre, who has come off two great performances against the Anaheim Angels to put the Rangers in position to wrap it up. 2-1 to McGriff. High and away, 2-2, rather 3-1. Aaron Seeley pitching tonight for the Rangers. If they defeat the Mariners and the Angels lose to the Oakland Athletics, they would wrap up the American League West. That's in for a strike, and the count is full, and they certainly have earned it by defeating the Angels 5 straight times.
This last series in Anaheim, the Angels scored 3 runs in 3 days, outscored 25-3. And they went in there and just took care of business.
And each team with 4 games left. Toward Jeter. Perfect. Oh, he bobbles it, but he will have time. And he gets it. Nice recovery by Derek Jeter. Don't see him bobble many ground balls, but alertly picked it up and still got McGriff by half a stride.
Well, it's nice when you have a backup plan, and the backup in this case is a strong arm. Gets rid of it quickly and just in time to get Fred McGriff. I'll tell you, shortstops and third basemen, when they bobble a ball, they have to hustle to get it across there. And Jeter, if it wasn't for this strong arm, and you can see he didn't even stride, he just picked it up and gunned it over there, and he gets McGriff out.
Here's Bubba Trammell. A shortstop is probably the only infield position where you can seldom knock the ball down, recover, and still throw the runner out. You usually have to pick it cleanly. Ex-Detroit Tiger with plenty of power, hitting as the designated hitter tonight. That's 2-0. Going back to Jeter, remember early in the year what the comment that Buck O'Neill made about Derek Jeter?
Oh, yeah. On the rain delay game in Kansas City, yeah.
Said he was the best shortstop, played the best shortstop that he'd seen in the American League. That's up and in, 3-0. And when you see the other great ones, and Nomar Garciaparra is having a great year, but you look at the error totals and the way they handle a position, Jeter probably gets a little overlooked for how smooth and consistent he is in the field. Only 9 errors this year, and of course Omar Vizquel's kind of got a lock on that Gold Glove award, just has 5. a rare 4-pitch walk for David Wells. Wow, that's something different. 4 straight out of the strike zone. Didn't happen back in the first inning.
No, it didn't. In fact, the first inning ended pretty quickly. Randy Wynn tried to check his swing. He's headed back to the dugout. Strikeout number 1. This is Quentin McCracken. Yep, cutter down and in. Strikeout number 2. Then Bobby Smith. Well, he's just frozen. Call strike 3. 3 in a row in the first inning.
And 1 of each. A fastball, a cutter, and a curve. As you said, he has 3 pitches he can finish a hitter off with. Here's Aaron Ledesma, the ex-New York Met. Came up with the Mets in the early 90s. Played some of the Baltimore Orioles, and good-looking batting average. .325. Not the strong suit of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They are last in the American League in most hitting categories.
Ledesma leads the team, hitting .290 with runners in scoring position. And Tampa Bay is last in the league in that. The team average is .229. So that shows you, even when they get runners out there available to come home, it's hard for them to score. The team is built on pitching and defense, and they do a good job of that. Larry Rothschild, former pitching coach of the world champion Florida Marlins.
Wells back on target now. It's 0-2 to Ledesma. And he picks on an 0-2 curveball, hits it out into center field. First hit for the Devil Rays, and they've got 2 on with 1 out here in the second inning.
You don't expect many 0-2 breaking balls to be right centered in the middle of the plate, but that one was. And he jumps on him for the base hit. Kind of hung right there. If you ask David Wells, he'll probably say that should have been hit for a base hit.
Not where he wanted it. Going back to the walk, Bubba Trammell. September 24 today. David Wells has walked 3 men since the 1st of August. 3 men in 7 weeks. There's Mike Kelly. There's a curveball. Nice block by Posada. Mike Kelly, a star at Arizona State, #1 draft pick. High expectations, and still young enough to develop into a good all-around everyday player. 10 home runs and just 31 RBIs this year. Devil Rays have their owner in town, as well as a lot of their fans tonight.
Look like the Twins are in, doesn't it?
Speaking of Twins, there's a representative of the Twins here as well. Clark Griffith, the son of the former owner, Calvin Griffith, in the stadium tonight, making a bid to buy the Minnesota Twins and keep them in the Twin Cities. Fouled at the plate, 1-1.
He's probably trying to give you some of that money his dad owed you.
That's right. We were talking about that. Yeah. He kept it pretty tight to himself. Talking about the economics of baseball, there's an example. Calvin Griffith sold the Minnesota Twins for $36 million back in the mid-'80s, which was thought to be an extravagant price, and his son Clark, 14 years later, is making an offer for $110 million to buy him from the current owner. Good off-speed pitch, and Kelly swings through it, 1-2.
Yeah, that was as good a changeup. I think that's the first changeup that David Wells has thrown tonight, and picked the perfect place to throw it. Mike Kelly's sitting on the fastball, and you can see he can't hold up enough to get to it. Good changeup.
Kelly stays alive, swinging foul on the curveball. Mike is 28 years old. It's Miguel Cairo waiting on deck, and he was a #1 draft pick of the Atlanta Braves in 1991. Great college career at Arizona State.
That's a school with such a good baseball tradition. Great players. Barry Bonds out of there.
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. Sal Bando.
Another good curve, and it's fouled at the plate.
Gary Gentry, I believe, maybe.
I think they were really the first college program that, I mean, Rod Dedeaux and all his great Southern California teams had great teams, but as far as a school that really produced a lot of big leaguers, that's the school that began to get recognition. Horner and Bando, and along Reggie Jackson, and along came Bob Horner. A lot of hitters. I don't think there were a lot of star pitchers that came out of there that became stars in the big leagues. And on the hands, grounded toward third, and that'll roll foul. Devil Rays, 95 losses. That's the highest total in the American League. They are, we mentioned, they're kind of at the bottom in most hitting categories. They're last in runs and home runs, doubles, RBIs, all those important categories. And you mentioned Larry Rothschild, the former coach of the Marlins, as well as the 1990 Cincinnati Reds, has decided to try to build this team around pitching and defense to begin with. They'll need some more thumpers next year to improve.
Especially when you play in what I consider a hitting ballpark.
Just missed the inside corner. Wells with a long look at Rick Reed. Kind of wanted that one. 2-2.
Tropicana Field, were there last week. Infield's quick, fences are close. That's a hitting ballpark. Yep, that one just missed. Let's see how much of the corner does. Maybe just a hair inside.
Posada was setting up inside. Kelly fouling off some good pitches. Going back to that target, I know we see it often. Catchers move a great deal from side to side. That's what influences the crowd reaction. Catchers sometimes set up well off the plate. Little team picture on the mound. Maybe the infielders said, "Hey, we thought it was a fastball," and he threw a curveball. A little mix up on the signs, possibly. Joe Girardi will probably catch tomorrow night's game. The Yankees will start El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, and then Andy Pettitte they'll kind of split that game up. And you would assume Joe Torre still undecided on which of those two will start game 2 of the division series. Up and in. Now the count's gone full. Kelly's turned this into a tough at bat.
Larry Rothschild has the chance, as you see, Andy Pettitte and El Duque, tomorrow night's pitchers, sitting side by side and communicating in the dugout. He has a chance to move the runners here on the 3-2 pitch to Mike Kelly. Of course, you have to take some things into consideration. How much does Mike Kelly strike out?
They're not going, and it's the 10th pitch of the at bat, and he fouls that one back.
Yeah, Kelly's had 272 at bats and has struck out 79 times, so that's a pretty high rate. Instead of, you don't want to strike him out, throw him out, double play, and you're out of the other team's out of the inning. Steve Henderson, former Met, hitting coach now with Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Pitch number 11, and another $9 souvenir.
I'm trying to think who were the pitcher and the hitter who had that at bat. It was Ricky Gutierrez early this year for Houston in Bartolo Colon in an interleague game, and it was I believe it was a 10-minute at bat.
Really?
And he finally struck out. Fouled off something like 17 pitches.
Make a lot of fans happy. Another one. Broken bat that time. Boy, Kelly is hanging in there. And this is the amount of pitches you normally expect David Wells to throw in a complete inning and be out of it. But Mike Kelly is prolonging that. And every pitch that he throws this inning, of course, will just shorten David Wells' overall night.
Kenny, what did pitchers feel like when they destroy a bat like that? What did it make you feel like?
Well, the one thing, you want it to be an out. You know, when you're making good pitches like that and the guy breaks his bat and it's a foul ball, say, man, I want an out. You know, David Wells threw 12 pitches in the first inning, and he's now thrown 12 to to Mike Kelly. And I say it might shorten his night because Mel Stottlemyre will monitor his pitch count tonight.
Yeah.
They're just going to allow him to throw enough pitches to be comfortable and come back on Tuesday night at full strength for the division series.
I talked to Mel before the game. As you look at Frank Howard.
Hondo.
Yeah, Hondo.
Here we go again. Getting back to Frank Howard. You can always tell the hitters that were comfortable hitting against you during your playing career because they come right up to you. How you doing, Jimmy? Nice to see you again. I said, yeah, Frank, you're looking for one of those little cross seamers about belt high, and he could hit one of those as far as anyone. He could make a lot of ballparks look small. Hard-working coach, as he was with the Mets as well as the Yankees. He coached for a lot of teams. Another one. It's going to reach the seats.
Turned it into ball night, isn't it?
So Mike Kelly must have heard you talking about the Ricky Gutierrez Bartolo Colon at bat. He's going to threaten that record. That's the 14th pitch of the at bat.
No, I think I said 17. It might have been more pitches than that, but it was 20, but the at bat lasted forever.
Wow. And that's what's really frustrating. All those pitches and then lose him on a full count at bat. As you see, the lowest walk rates in a single season back in 1942, 1949, Ernie Bonham, and David Wells now in this season the third lowest walk total. And would you believe it, as we brag about Boomer's control, that he has already walked 2, and the last time that happened was July 26 against the White Sox. 2 months since he's walked 2 men in a start. Here's Cairo with the bases loaded and 1 out. He went around, said John Shulak. Strike 1.
Now here's a guy who's relatively tough to strike out, puts bat on ball, and part of the reason is he has that unusual grip of the bat. A lot of bat control when you can split your hands. You don't see this approach very often. But I guess that works for Miguel Cairo.
0-2.
Last 3 games, 5 for 12 out of the Cubs organization. It's amazing. You put together a ball club and everybody comes from somewhere else. They've been taught how to do things in different ways, and you got to make a ball club out of it.
Yeah, you're right. In spring training, I mean, the game is 3 strikes you're out and all that kind of stuff. That's basic, but every organization has a little different way of teaching things, relay throws, the subtle skills of baseball. So you're right. It's the job of Larry Rothschild and his coaches to put this team together. Cairo has not done well with the bases loaded, as you see. Big swing there, fouled straight back. I got to believe a lot of tonight's inconsistency with David Wells, as John Flaherty, the catcher, waits on deck, is the concentration factor. He knows this is just a tune-up. I mean, it would take an awfully bad start by Roger Clemens for him not to be the Cy Young winner. That's inside, 1-2. So this is one of those like spring training. Hey, get your work in, have 5 or 6 good innings, test all your pitches out. You see Posada reach for that. That was off the corner. Another foul ball. So the Devil Ray hitters pesky against David Wells.
They're in the spoiler road roll up there at the plate. First Kelly, now Cairo.
Yankees are 7-1 this year against Tampa Bay. They lost a game down at Tropicana Field on the last road trip. And Cairo spoils another one.
For a while, they thought that Cairo was going to be the replacement for Ryan Sandberg. And didn't work out. They decided to go another route and make a trade, trading Doug Glanville to the Philadelphia Phillies and getting Mickey Morandini. Morandini's had a good year for the Cubs. I think Cairo has acquitted himself well with the Devil Rays.
Must be some heat on Kenny down the corner of that dugout. You see all those Yankees huddled up there? Over the head of Brocious, the high hopper into left field. 2 will score. And the Devil Rays have broken on top 2-0. Making it a tough inning for David Wells. That's his 39th pitch of the second inning. And there's still just 1 out and 2 on.
This ball took a tremendous hop over the head of Scott Brocious and on into left field for the base hit. Looked like it hit the lip right where the dirt meets the grass in front of home plate and went straight up in the air like it hit a trampoline. The ball had hit normally. I believe that might have been a double play ball to get David Wells out of the inning.
Yeah, almost like an AstroTurf hit. 2-0 Devil Rays, and here's catcher John Flaherty. Good fastball, strike 1. Flaherty with 3 home runs, 24 RBIs.
Flaherty can be a free agent at the end of the year. But he's not having his best offensive year, hitting at only .211. They got him from San Diego in a trade for Brian Boehringer, the former Yankee pitcher.
0-2. Wells has had no trouble getting to 2 strikes. It's been the Devil Rays have been pesky in these type counts. Yeah, expansion's been a wonderful thing for ball players. You mentioned John Flaherty, who was with the Tigers, the Red Sox. Mentioned the Padres, and now another opportunity with the Devil Rays. On the run are the base runners, and the ball is popped up. They'll have to retreat in a hurry. Brocious makes the grab. Not quite. Good reaction by Mike Kelly to get back quickly. And that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Mike Kelly able to get back, even though when he got to third base, he actually slipped in trying to stop. You see the coach waving him back, Orlando Gomez, and just ahead of the throw. There's Kelly in full retreat, headed for second base. Brocious with the delivery to not block, but couldn't get him. Only Kelly's speed. This is kind of a fun play, isn't it? Watch, whoop, one way. It looks like, you know, when he used to play basketball in high school, those preseason workouts, they run, touch the line, and then run all the way back and touch the other line.
Here's Randy Wynn. Takes the curve in for a strike.
I used to hate those.
Strikeout victim in the first inning. Wells breezed through the first 12 pitches, 3 strikeouts. The second inning here has been a little different story. Pair of walks, pair of hits. Well over 40 pitches. High in the air, behind second. Knobloch is there. And he puts it away. But the Devil Rays break through against David Wells. They take a 2-0 lead. Yankees coming to bat in the bottom of the second when we come back.
People
Due in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Happy to have you with us on MSG, the last weekend of the regular season. The Yankees will just use this as a tune-up. You'll see several of the regulars play a day or two. Not a complete game. Joe Torre, as Chili Davis takes strike one, will parade a lot of his relief pitchers out there. That's going to be the key this weekend. Even though Graham Lloyd had an outstanding outing last night, I think the Yankees would still like to see some more of that. Jeff Nelson will get some chances to sharpen up a little bit. The arm strength is there, but his control has not been good. It's a ball and a strike now to Chili Davis. You'll see Nelson in the game, I'm sure, a little bit later tonight. Inside, 2-1.
Chili Davis has been getting a lot of at-bats this month and trying to sharpen up his swing, get his timing ready for postseason play. Chili's from both sides of the plate, he's hitting about even as far as his average is concerned. He's hitting 284 overall, but 286 right-handed, 283 left-handed. So that's.
And he hasn't done well against Alvarez. A little late on the fastball there, and that's kind of been the story these last couple weeks. Chances are Chili will hit from the left side against the Rangers. And they look like the team that'll come in here, and if they do, they're going to throw all right-hand starters at you. Outside, and the count's full.
Now, Wilson Alvarez suffered from tendonitis this year. As we look at yeah, that is him. Shane Spencer on deck. Shoulder tendonitis, went on the DL May 28th. Was out for quite a while.
Alvarez puts him away on the high fastball. That's his second strikeout of the game, and he has set down the first 4. And here he comes. The Yankees' new hero. And in the background, you can hear the crowd. They're aware of what he's done. 7 home runs, but in September, he has hit 5. Third Yankee rookie to hit 2 home runs twice in a game at the stadium. Bernie Williams leads the Yankees with 6, and Paul O'Neill next, tied with Spencer, 5 home runs during the month. Here's yesterday's.
There was something up in the strike zone, and it was well tagged. Jason Hockamy, after that ball landed, the Indians were trailing 5-4.
Fouled straight back. Good swing there. On this tear that he's been on, this was pointed out by Anaheim Angels scout Moose Stubing, who's in here anticipating the Angels might play the Yankees. Shane Spencer in the last couple series has only swung and missed 1 pitch. It was a curveball in last night's ball game. He's been on just about everything. Change up high and away, 2-1. And he's getting a lot of counts like this. A lot of good hitters counts, showing good discipline, and then picking on a fastball. Waited good, fouled it out of play. That was another changeup.
Yeah, he doubled up on it.
He
Now,
waited on it.
Kitty, how much of this do you think is that the pitcher's not really knowing Shane Spencer and, you know, maybe realizing that he has some power and being very careful, then falling behind, then all of a sudden they have to come to him and he's ready?
I think that's part of it, but like that last swing, he's certainly shown some pretty good discipline and reaction on off-speed pitches as well. Stays alive.
Although when I think back to his 2-homer game the other day, he hit the first pitch both times. He had a fastball, 1 curve.
Right.
Yeah.
And he runs the count full. Nothing new for Alvarez. The lack of control in the second inning a little unusual for Wells. Posada waits on deck. But Alvarez will go to a lot of full counts. Mentioned Wilson averages well over 4 walks a game in his career. High in the air to left, but not quite as deep as some of his others. Quentin McCracken will have room, but another good at bat, a good swing. I mean, They all appreciate it. They know he just missed a home run by a millimeter.
I think he just didn't get his hands and arms quite extended. Just a little bit. Swing was a little late. You see him shake his head. He knows he just missed it. Alvarez came inside with the fastball. He's quick with the bat, but just not quick enough there. And if Alvarez backs that pitch off maybe just 1 or 2 miles an hour, that ball's in the seats.
Yeah, as usual, he gives the fans and his teammates a thrill. 2 down now. Here's Posada. Good fastball, strike one. You saw and commented on him shaking his head. As soon as he hit it, he knew he didn't have enough of it. And hitters and pitchers can recognize that sound immediately. As a pitcher, you know when it hits the bat, rub up a new one.
Yeah. you get the feel.
Right.
When it leaves that bat, it's not staying in here.
Curve misses, 2-0. Jeter mimicking Spencer's short, compact swing. Backdoor curveball misses, 2-1. Let's check out our American League leaders versus lefties with a minimum of 100 at-bats. That's the New York Presbyterian batting leaders, the area's new leader in healthcare. Brocious up at the top, hitting left-hand pitching, and Posada right behind him. Bernie Williams also in the top categories there.
And Jeter. That's why the Yankees into last night were hitting .306 against left-handed pitching.
And as we said, if the Rangers come in, they won't see many left-hand pitchers other than an occasional appearance out of the bullpen. Another full count. Wilson could put that on his license plate.
You make a pitch right here.
3 and 2, right?
Right. Struck him out. Good live fastball. So he has set down the first 6 Yankees in order. Spencer gave everyone a thrill with that long fly. He knew it wasn't out. 2-0 Tampa Bay. We head to the 3rd. Back after this. 27th Sunday. It's a 1:30 start. Saturday, all fans in attendance receive a 1977 World Series replica pin as McCracken takes ball 1. That's compliments of Chase Manhattan Bank. Tickets for the weekend available at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the clubhouse stores, and on the web. One of Wells' 3 strikeout victims back in the first inning. Count level at 1-1.
Quentin McCracken came out of the Colorado Rockies organization. In fact, they spent a couple of years in the big leagues. And their bench coach was Jackie Moore. And Jackie Moore said he might be short in stature, but he is dynamite in the small package. Speaking of McCracken, he said in the offseason, he should be a Chippendale dancer. He is really built.
Good curveball. And that's pulled foul. Again, Wells has gone to a 1-2 count. And most of the time now when you go through major league locker rooms, you'd think you were in an NFL locker room because of the weight training guys really have those sculpted figures you expect from football players.
It's a power game now. Power pitching, power hitting.
Grounded foul at the plate. Boomer might not quite fit that category yet.
No,
we haven't gotten him into the weight room. David Wells, he still appreciates the Babe Ruth look, a little baggier in the pants than most. Got the socks up today. Cool enough, the umpires allow you to blow on the hand. Off the corner. 2-2.
Yeah, you're talking about the players in expansion. McCracken was a 4th outfielder with the Rockies. Didn't get much of a chance to play. He was behind Larry Walker, Ellis Bergs, Dante Bichette, and only when one of those guys would get hurt would he get a chance.
Another foul ball. Devil Rays setting a record tonight for most pitches fouled off against David Wells. And they get to 2 strikes.
So with McCracken now setting an expansion record for most hits by a first-year player. He got his chance to play.
Down on strikes. There is first 2 at bats. Posada will make the tag, and McCracken down on the curveball. First out in the 3rd inning. Gives us a chance to check out our New York City Marriott marquee pitching matchup. David Wells in his career. Look at those numbers at Yankee Stadium. Alvarez has done well 2-3-1. As a member of the Yankees, Wells is actually 19-6 here at the stadium. That's outside for a ball to Bobby Smith.
And the same thing applies to Bobby Smith as Quentin McCracken, because Smith was in the Atlanta organization as a 3rd baseman behind Chipper Jones, which is like a roadblock in AAA. Behind a young, outstanding star, you're not going to play 3rd base in that organization.
Kind of like being a shortstop here in the New York Yankee organization. David Wells has thrown as many pitches already with 1 out in the 3rd here as you expect him to throw through about 5 innings. Another 2-strike count. It's 1 and 2. The Devil Rays, you mentioned all the good at-bats they're putting on tonight. They're, in addition to not scoring a lot of runs, they're kind of a bad combination. They strike out more than all but 2 teams in the American League, and they don't walk very often. That's why Larry Rothschild has had to depend on pitching and defense to win the games they have won. There's a called strike 3. Smith down on strikes for the 2nd time. That's 5 for Wells. Struck out the side in the 1st, and now he's 2/3 of the way there here in the 3rd.
Changing the pattern. First time, remember, Smith struck out a curveball. This time fastball over the inside corner. That had some of the plate. DeShadow hit it, and he's out of there.
It's one of those calls where part of the ball caught part of the plate. Some umpires they want the whole ball over the plate. Here's the veteran Fred McGriff. Up the middle. He's going to have a 2-out single.
There's the crime dog who leads the Devil Rays in both home runs and RBIs, and he's driven in 81 runs this year. That's 11 years in a row that he's driven in at least 80. That's the longest streak among active players.
Actually started his career with the New York Yankees. Fred McGriff did, and another in a long line of major league players coming out of Tampa, Florida. Here's Bubba Trammell. Takes low for a ball. Now McGriff enjoying, after those productive years with Atlanta, a nice chance to get back home and play in his home area. Changeup low, 2-0. Wells just not sharp tonight. I don't think the concentration is there. I think it's like a spring training game for him. He's only out of 14 hitters, 50% on first pitch strikes, and he's usually strike 1 on just about everyone. Now Block will grab that one. Little broken bat line drive. So Wells pitches through the 3rd inning, a pair of strikeouts. He's got 5 on the night. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. The Yankees on the short end of a 2-0 score.
Go. She can do everything in a show, from design, direction,
Welcome back to the stadium. The Devil Rays lead it 2-0 as Alvarez drops a curveball in on Chad Curtis. You heard Chad Curtis' comments on our scorecard show. He was relieved to get that 10th home run. He was stuck on 9 since early August. And it was a record-breaking, a record-tying home run from a team standpoint. That's why he was eager to get it. The Yankees now have 9 players with at least 10 home runs or more. And O'Neill was the guy that was on the other team that holds the record as well.
The 1991 Cincinnati Reds.
And on the hands out the left, McCracken will have room and put it away, 1 down. There are the double doubles, home runs and stolen bases. That ties a major league record with the 91 Reds as well. Paul O'Neill, a member of that select group as a member of the Yankees. He had 28 home runs with the Cincinnati Reds in 91. The Reds actually won the World Series in 90. They did not get there in 91. Brocious takes a strike. He also reached double figures. Nice night for cotton candy as usual. A lot of young fans at the ballpark. Outside, 1-1.
So O'Neill's been part of it on both clubs. He stole 12 bases that year back in 1991. Stolen more bases this year.
He's been a part of a lot of history with the Yankees and the Reds, because earlier this year, of course, we had Tom Browning, the ex-left-hand pitcher of Cincinnati Reds, who also pitched a perfect game like David Wells, and Paul O'Neill was the right fielder in both those games. Gets tonight off. He'll be in there tomorrow. He says he wants to play the weekend, get a few at-bats each game. Low, and it's 2-2. What Joe Torre has done with most of his regulars is ask them whether you know, how much would you like to play tonight, how many at-bats, and most guys want to keep going out there to try to stay sharp. Strawberry and Range trying to heal up from some minor injuries, and there's Wilson Alvarez again. The count's gone full.
You know, one reason why he's effective tonight, the Yankees have not gotten a hit, haven't had a man on base, because he's all over the place. It's hard to get a beat on him. You know, he's throwing pretty well. He's got a good fastball, but you can't really look in one area for it.
Fouled straight back. Out of 8 batters, 5 have gone to full counts. There's the wild card race, and even though Pedro Martinez has given up a couple of home runs, the Red Sox lead at 4-3 in the 5th. A win tonight would clinch a spot. They've already clinched a tie, but Toronto could still tie them and force a playoff on Monday if the Red Sox don't win another game. Foul out of play again. Reminds me, Kenny, you talk about being all over the place. When I was a kid, the Tigers had a hitter named Dick Wakefield, high expectations, and he struck out one time on a fastball up around the bill of the cap on a full count, and came back slamming his bat down, said to his teammates, how can he pitch me up there at 3-2? I mean, you know, those guys that are all over the place are sometimes can be tough on hitters. Popped up in the infield. It's going to be 8 in a row retired by Alvarez as McGriff puts it away, 2 down.
See, but meanwhile, Alvarez is using up a lot of pitches, a lot of 3-2 counts, and you wouldn't expect him to be able to throw like this well into the 6th or 7th inning.
That's why you don't see as many complete games. Teams pay so much attention to the pitch count, and they wouldn't allow a pitcher like Alvarez to go too deep into the ball game. I don't think it's really that, at least it isn't up here, but it must be cool enough out in that bullpen. You see the players bundled up with jackets and a towel. That is Ramiro Mendoza. He's not used to this kind of weather.
Well, maybe he's getting ready for the postseason. You know, it can cool down in the postseason.
Soho takes a pitch outside, and it's 2-0. Fellow Venezuelans going at it, and Wilson has gotten the best of it so far. Two and one. One great shortstop we failed to mention when we talked about Venezuela. Actually, a couple of them, Omar Vizquel and Chico Carrasquel. He was probably the original.
Yeah.
Former great shortstop of the White Sox, still doing their telecast on the Spanish network. Off-speed pitch hit out into center field where Randy Wynn is waiting. So Alvarez has perfect through the first 3. Speaking of perfect, Al Troutwig will be along to join Ken Singleton in the 4th inning when we come back on MSG. Yankees down 2-0.
Lots of zeros on the board for the New York Yankees. Wilson Alvarez has them mesmerized through 3. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig along with Ken Singleton, and he looks very good, Mr. Alvarez.
Mesmerized and hypnotized. Yeah. He has a good fastball tonight.
David Wells had a real big-time struggle in the 2nd inning, and he faces Aaron Ledesma, one of the better hitters in the Tampa Bay Devil Rays lineup. He singled back in the 2nd inning and then later scored on Miguel Cairo's 2 RBI hit. Foul ball down the line. I'm a little surprised at the size of this crowd tonight, aren't you?
You mean Tampa Bay Devil Rays not drawing as some of the other clubs have? Maybe they're going to save it all for the final day when Joe DiMaggio comes, and tribute to Joe DiMaggio on the final game of the series, final day of the season, regular season.
Knobloch has it in the glove. 1 out here in the 4th. That'll bring up Mike Kelly. He walked for the 20th time this season, and it was the walks that were really strange for David Wells in the 2nd inning. To see him walk 2 guys in 1 inning is really weird.
Yeah, Kenny talking about the concentration. Kelly with the walk after fouling off several pitches. Swings through that one. But I believe the concentration factor was in play when Ledesma got a base hit on an 0-2 pitch in the 2nd. You just don't see that off of David Wells. Somebody get a hit on an 0-2 pitch.
This is an 0-1 pitch. And I'm going to venture a guess, Kenny. I'm going to say that David Wells is wearing his socks like that tonight because he knew that this was the anniversary of Babe's last game. Wouldn't you say? I mean, this guy is savvy enough about Yankee history.
Well, he knows the Babe backwards and forwards.
Now it's 1-2.
And he loves that memorabilia. Wasn't he the one who wanted Cal Ripken's jersey the other night in Baltimore?
A mid-game negotiation.
Mid-game. Like Cal needs any more money, right?
Foul back towards us. Just a little short of the booth. I was going to go for it.
I saw you. I was holding you back.
I was going to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a fall down there to the seats, Al.
I wasn't going to go that far.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's something about catching a foul ball at a baseball game that never dies, no matter how old a baseball fan you are. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wells to go in game 1. And then I guess the best guess is Andy Pettit. You never know. Joe's not letting the secrets out of the bag just yet. Line drive just over the head of Derek Jeter. And Curtis hustles it into second base. So Kelly's on with a 1-out single.
I think Kelly got that off the end of the bat. It might have broken his bat, but he'll take it. Base hit. Watched it leap by Jeter on the very end. Up and just over. There's plenty of air beneath those feet.
He can jump.
Oh, man.
He's got all the skills.
Yeah, but his friend Alex Rodriguez says he has no game as far as basketball is concerned.
Is that right?
Maybe he can leap, but I guess the rest of it isn't there. But that's what you have to take A-Rod's word for that.
The hitter is Miguel Cairo, who's been the offensive difference in the game so far. 269 hitter with a single that scored 2. So, you know, Michael Kay and I have had this post-game throwing challenge, and we had some fun with Mike 2 nights ago. Last night our crew abandoned me and just exposed my weak throw as evidence that Mike actually beat me by about 10 feet. So it became a topic in the Yankee clubhouse. And it all started when Mike said he could throw a ball from home plate over the right field wall, which was ridiculous. You can't even come close.
Jeez, he said that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why I entertained it, I don't know. Another foul ball, 1-1. So Paul O'Neill got wind of this and came out for batting practice today and went right to home plate with a ball, and at what he says was 3/4 strength through a line drive off the right field wall. It's 314 feet.
He probably hadn't even warmed up.
He did. That could be the dent he put in the wall. We're not sure. Another foul ball. So he said no problem throwing the ball from home plate over the right field wall.
And Michael Kay, how far did he throw it?
Oh, I'm going to say maybe 120 feet.
You mean it went beyond first base?
Barely.
Okay.
I mean, I barely made the outfield grass, which was really weak. And he maybe went 10 feet beyond me.
See, you guys probably throw further than I can. I can't do it anymore. That's where it went first base.
O'Neill's got a good arm.
No kidding. He wasn't even warmed up and drilled the wall. How did that make you guys feel?
Weak.
When you think about it. One reason why this game looks so easy, because the players are very, very good at it.
2 outs as Bernie grabs it. Well, this is it, and 3 more for the 1998 season. The Delta Airlines schedule shows you when and where. Tomorrow at 7, Saturday 3:30, Sunday at 1. That's when our pregame coverage begins on MSG. And then a reminder, as the postseason begins on Tuesday, we will have extensive postgame coverage when the games are over on the networks after each and every game. Michael Kay, part of it, will be there with highlights, analysis. We'll be in the locker rooms. Extensive looks at all the key moments as the postseason gets underway.
The interviews and
all that stuff.
Oh man, that's great.
Well, you know what's fun about it is that with those games, everything is so magnified. Every pitch, every at bat, everything is
intensity.
Yeah.
Turned up a notch or 2 or 3.
Here's New Yorker John Flaherty with a man on and 2 outs. Yankees down 2-zip. Ground ball, Knobloch shuffles it to the icon, and that's it for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays here in the 4th. David Wells gives up a hit, but no damage. Chuck Knobloch making the play to his middle of the diamond buddy, Derek Jeter. They will be coming up in a moment, and Bernie's going to join them. Back at the stadium, Yankees looking for their first hit. And it'll be the top of the order because Wilson Alvarez has been perfect through 3. Chuck Knobloch looks at strike 1. Alvarez has been deep into many counts. At 110-48, the Yankees have equaled the franchise record for wins in a single season, tying the 1927 New York Yankees. The line drive caught. Yankees are 0 for 10. Join Bill Daughtry for the latest info as the Yankees prep for the postseason on the Daily News Baseball Playoff Preview. That's Sunday night at 11, only on MSG. The noise level goes up for Derek Jeter as he steps up with his .324 batting average, still looking for home run number 20. He struck out for the 117th time of the season. Alvarez has had 3 strikeouts so far. Little ground ball. Botched at short. Aaron Ledesma. And the Yankees have their first base runner.
Looked like it was going to be somewhat of a routine play. A ground ball, 1 hop, 2 hops back through the middle, and then right off the heel of the glove. This ball did. I thought it might have taken a bad hop on Ledesma, but it doesn't. He just doesn't come up with it. Off the heel of the glove, and that is a definite error on the shortstop.
It's on the scoreboard, E6. And Jeter is on, and at the plate is Bernie Williams. It's going to be real interesting to see how close it winds up being between Bernie and Mo Vaughn. For the first time tonight, Alvarez has to keep an eye on a base runner. Big swing by Bernie, 0-1.
Alvarez has had the good fastball tonight, right from the very beginning of the game. Mixed in a few breaking balls, a couple of changeups. Changeups not quite as effective.
Bernie lays off it. Bernie Williams and Mo Vaughn tied at 334. And Eric Davis, I mean, all he's done is come back from cancer. What a story that is at 326. 1-1 to Bernie Williams. Alvarez will make us wait.
So far tonight, we've been informed that Mo Vaughn is 2 for 3.
Ooh, the pressure is on.
And Bernie's 0 for 1. There's a look from the first base camera.
That's a brand new camera for us tonight. Ooh, Bernie, you got fooled by that pitch. Our director, Bill Webb, is always pushing the envelope. He knows no limits. Bernie gets called out on strikes. Alvarez pitched him inside, and now there are 2 away. 4th strikeout.
And a well-spotted fastball. Flaherty with the glove. About belt high, that's where he got the ball. And he gets the call. He just about didn't have to move the glove very much at all, did he? Right to the glove and call strike 3. I mentioned Alvarez's best pitch tonight has been his fastball.
Now it's Chili Davis hitting .281 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. And I bet Joe Torre would like to see him hit a few long balls before this regular season is over. Late on that pitch, 0-1.
Challenging type fastball, and it looked like Alvarez threw it as hard as he could for the middle of the plate.
The Yankees currently have a 21-game lead over the Boston Red Sox in the AL East. The widest margin of victory ever for the Yankees is 19.5 games, 1936. So it could be the biggest blowout in Yankee history. 0-2.
If I'm sitting on the bench, or the Yankee bench, I come up to hit, you know you're going to get the gas. You got to be ready. And so far, it's Alvarez doing all the cooking.
He's having a good finish to his season, Wilson Alvarez. Last 4 or 5 starts. And the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are playing much better. They're 10-12 this month. That may not sound like much, but in comparison to their record over the rest of the season, it's darn good. Shane Spencer is on deck. Had a long fly ball in his first at bat. One and 2 with 2 outs and 1 on. And another one straight back. And I think the Yankee players will have as much fun with Shane Spencer's at bats as anybody else.
Well, they're fans, they're baseball fans, and they get to expect he's going to leave the park every time up.
He had an awesome batting practice. I mean, it's all Jeter and O'Neill were talking about after it was over. But right now it's Chili Davis's turn. The Yankees down 2-0 as they bat in the bottom of the 4th. And Shane Spencer will lead it off in the 5th. All that the Yankees have gotten so far is a base runner on an error. And there it is. Aaron Ledesma's miscue, and they did nothing with it. Well, on Tuesday, it may be the Yankees and the Rangers. But there's, of course, the other Rangers, MSG's New York Rangers, and tickets are on sale now at the MSG box office, or call Ticketmaster at 212-307-7171. The Rangers played the Devils last night, looked pretty good, in a 1-0 win. David Wells to face the top of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays order. Brocious, barehand, in time. Good looking play. Randy Wynn is retired here in the top of the 5th.
He doesn't miss it very often, and I don't know if there's any third baseman better at making this play barehanded. Said it before, normally when the ball is moving, you're taught to use your glove. Scott just has that uncanny ability to pick it barehanded, and he got a guy who can fly, and Randy Wynn, nice play.
He got a nice big high bounce to play. Here's Quentin McCracken, the left fielder of the Devil Rays, hitting .293. He has been struck out twice by David Wells. Wells started the game and got the crowd into it early by striking out the side, and then strangely struggled in the second inning.
He's had a quiet little feud going with Rick Reed, the home plate umpire. He looked in on that pitch. He thought, you know, that looked about knee high. He thought it should have been a strike.
Out to right, and Spencer's going to have to play it on a hop. So a 1-out base runner for Tampa Bay.
Probably the last inning we'll see David Wells, Al, and he's got his Babe Ruth styled uniform with the high socks. He normally doesn't feature that, and that was just a terrific piece that Jim Gallagher put together, and I believe you narrated on Japan today, and featuring Babe Ruth going over there on our scorecard show.
Yeah, that was really really fun to watch, and some of the footage in the film of old-time Japanese baseball was really great. Here's Bobby Smith, who'd love to do something he's never done in his life. Get a hit against the New York Yankees. He's 0 for 16. 0 for 16. Tampa Bay at 63 and 95 in their inaugural season, and they'd love to do something. They've never won a game in the Bronx. It was against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in that series just over a week ago, I guess it was, when the Yankees played really subpar, and Joe Torre had a closed-door meeting after the game, and you look at the way the Yankees have responded since then, it tells you that they listen when Joe talks.
It was reported today how Joe has the stare that all the players are aware of if they've made a mistake. Homer Bush, I think, talked about the stare that you get from Joe. You know you've done something on the field that isn't right.
You don't want to get the stare.
I think in Joe's comments before the game, he's comfortable with just about everything except he'd like to see Jeff Nelson. You'd like to, as a manager, have confidence in the fact that your bullpen guys can come in and at least throw strikes. You know they're not always going to get them out. Last night was a step forward for Graham Lloyd. I think they still want to see a little more from him.
And another good look at Darren Holmes. 0-2. Wells softly throws over to Luis Sojo in for Tino Martinez tonight.
A lot is made, of course, of Shane Spencer and what he's done lately, but if the Yankees carry 10 pitchers, he figured into the postseason anyway. That's why they called him up on August 31st as, you know, maybe just another outfielder. Now he's thrust himself into the picture as maybe getting a lot of playing time.
Broken back ground ball. Brocious, Knobloch had a little problem getting off the throw. Luis Sojo, is he all right? Yeah, he's okay. Quite a tumble there at first base. What a great pickup, though, by Sojo on the throw.
Yeah, looked like McCracken gave Knobloch a pretty good slide. Let's get a look at it. No, he's got time. Chuck's got time. He just didn't get enough on it. And Luis Sojo plays first base like a goalie, speaking of the Rangers. See, a lot of first basemen will stay on that. He made sure he came off the bag and got the ball. Knobloch had enough time. Brocious from underneath gives it to him. See, McCracken's not even in your picture, but I think because he had to reach toward the outfield to get the throw, he couldn't get enough on it going the other way.
So on the fielder's choice, Bobby Smith is at first base. McCracken retired. And Luis is able to smile through it. So he's back in at his job okay. Hitter is Fred McGriff. He has grounded out and singled, left stranded in the third. Wells is really taking his time too, Jim, you know.
It's going to be, we mentioned, going to be his last inning, and I think he'd like to finish off feeling good about all of his pitches. Whether he gets hit or not is another thing. Mike Buddy, looks like Mike will come in and pitch at least the 6th inning. Yankees sent a couple of their players already down to their camp in Tampa for a little fall instruction. Mike Jerzenbeck.
Joe said that was just to make room in the clubhouse. It was getting crowded in there.
Joe Borowski got a chance to go home at the end of the season.
Joe was meditating, maybe trying to envision what Tuesday night will be like. Boy, you can't imagine how much different it's going to be. This atmosphere compared to Tuesday night at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx.
It'll be an 8 o'clock start, and the noise level here 6:30 or 7 o'clock will already be something like it was during the early middle part of the season when the Yankees were on their hot run. I think all the fans now even sense this is just fall training. This is just tune-up time.
And Wells with another walk. Most strange.
That's 2 walks he's issued on just 4 pitches. And he mentioned July 26th, he had 3 walks against the White Sox. That's the last game he's had. Normally, if a pitcher averages 3 walks for 9 innings, you say that's pretty good. But with Wells, you don't expect 3 walks a month.
Very strange. Fouled straight back. Now, Jim, in his last start, in 5 1/3, he gave up 11 hits and 5 runs. The start before that, 7 hits and 5 runs. 6 hits and 4 runs. And now this tonight. Is there any danger sign here from David Wells or not?
There isn't for me. I mean, Mel Stottlemyre would certainly know better as far as his stuff, but I just think once the Yankees have this thing wrapped up, your whole mindset is different. And you know how David his concentration tends to wane from time to time. These games just don't mean as much anymore once they've clinched. You know, the individual thing, the Cy Young, as much as we made it, he and David Cohn having a shot at it, I don't think it meant as much to them as maybe to the media. Roger Clemens has a pretty good hold on it right now. It would have taken a really big effort by Wells tonight to stay in the picture.
Two on, 2 out. That's a strike, 1 and 2.
See, that was a changeup. Even his pitching pattern might not be the same tonight as it would be next Tuesday. He just wants to make sure he uses all of his pitches and feels good about all. We've seen him throw some good curves, some good cutters.
Tonight he has equaled the total number of walks in his previous 10 starts. Ground ball to Brocious. He makes the tag, and the top of the 5th is over. And David Wells maybe has thrown his last pitch until Tuesday night, when that'll be a big one. Shane Spencer, the batter against Wilson Alvarez. Man, has this guy had a 48-hour stretch or what? And he hit maybe the longest ball of the game in his last at bat. It wasn't out, but he just missed it. He's hitting .407 with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. Ground ball, beautiful play at third base. Smith across and in time. Spencer is 0 for 2. This is David Wells checking out. He's back in the clubhouse already. That means Mike Buddy will come in, and that's it. Whatever whatever David Wells wanted to work on tonight is over. And the next time we see him will be on Tuesday night in Game 1. Doesn't seem totally thrilled with the way it went.
Not happy about the results. Doesn't have a chance to pick up a win, but 5 innings worth of work, almost 100 pitches.
Now it's up to Jorge Posada. Yankees down 2-0, trying to get win number 111. Jim, you know what a technical director does. He's the guy who sits next to our director and executes his orders as he barks them out.
And Bill Webb can bark them out, right?
With ferocity. So he's got this like Star Trek board that sits in front of him. It's got all buttons and lights and stuff like that. And Rich Basile is our technical director and has been for much of the season. However, after tonight, he's bailing out on us.
Really?
Yeah. So like if Bill Webb says take camera 9, this is what it would look like. That's 9. And then he would say take camera 8. And that's 8. And he would want to take camera 4 right before Wilson Alvarez delivers the pitch. Now the high camera, which Bill Webb uses as a safety device, the moment the ball is hit, he says take 2. And that's 2.
You could direct from up here, couldn't you?
I did it for a little bit last week. It's nerve-wracking. Take 4. But what you're supposed to do is say take 2 after you say ready 2. And that's into the seats. So ready 6, take 6. That would be the shot of Fred McGriff.
Got to know your math in that business, don't you? Got to know how to count.
Is there a, can we take 10? Is there a 10? Oh, that's camera 10 down the first baseline.
Never ends.
So that's the unique shot of this new camera. Ready 5, take 5. Rich Basile, if you notice, hasn't made one mistake yet. Because if he does, Bill Webb just leans over and whacks him on the side of the head. I didn't say take 4. There it goes back to the seat. So I'll turn that job back over to them. But you get an idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, Rich, thanks for everything you did this season. And thanks for bailing out on us for the last 3 games. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Posada. There's going to be this weekend an outstanding article in the New York Times Magazine on Sunday. A look at the Yankees and especially focusing on George Steinbrenner. And Jorge Posada is retired. 2 outs. Jorge's in the article, and it talks about how Brian Cashman deals with George Steinbrenner, how they've, talked about keeping certain players after consulting with the farm system. Jorge was a player that they absolutely coveted for years, and the cover of the magazine is pretty neat. They got a bunch of the Yankees to sign a baseball to George.
Really?
And Scott Brocious, for example, said, dear boss, thanks for rescuing me off the scrap pile. Scott Brocious. The hitter's Chad Curtis. Well, that's what Curtis has said about George Steinbrenner, too. Thanks for rescuing me from the scrap heap.
Yeah, the Yankees have done a good job of that with, I don't think Scott Brocious, he said that facetiously. He wasn't really on the scrap heap. He was a regular everyday player. Now, Chad Curtis, different story. But the Yankees, in talking with some of the scouts before the game tonight, they do a good job of keeping their position players in their organization. Spencer, Figa, Leday, they've been around for 7 or 8 years. A lot of organizations let their position players go, and then you fill in your pitching staff with free agents, use some of your top pitching prospects for trades. Ouch.
Oh, that had a smart. Alvarez hits Curtis, and the Yankees have a 2-out base runner.
As Joe Torre was talking about the Spencer/Curtis situation, he said, Curtis is a whole different dimension for us, and that I look at that getting hit by a pitch. The Yankees do not want Chad Curtis's legs damaged going into division series. Yeah, he gives them speed and versatility in the outfield as well as on the bases. Spencer is more of a bat, just an average runner and an average fielder.
So now it's Scott Brocious with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Brocious at .302 with 19 home runs and 96 RBIs. Chad Curtis seems to be fine. Time now for the Aflac trivia quiz, I believe. Who was the last player to drive in 100 runs from the 7, 8, and 9 spots in the order?
If fans were watching last night, we tipped them off on the answer.
We'll have the answer in a short while. No doubt, though, it is an extreme luxury for the Yankees to be able to send a guy like Scott Brocious in this position. Tonight he's hitting 8th. Alvarez on a 2-0 count. He's thrown a lot of pitches. He's been deep in many. Another foul ball.
And you mentioned Brocious' numbers. Not that Randy Johnson needs any help, but that's a big difference, I think, when pitchers go to the National League. They got the pitcher hitting down there. The bottom third of the National League batting orders are not as potent. You can breeze through the bottom third there sometimes in, 8, 9 pitches. And over here, when you've got Brocious hitting down the bottom of the order, Posada, that's like pitching to the heart of the order on a lot of teams.
Another foul ball. Meanwhile, I don't know how Randy Johnson could look his Seattle Mariner teammates square in the eye. I mean, that he bailed out on them.
What a difference between what he did and the way he approached things and Mo Vaughn without a contract. And Lou Piniella addressed it. He knew in the offseason Randy Johnson mentally was not going to be the pitcher that they wanted. He let the contract thing really affect the effort that he gave the Mariners early in the year.
For $6 million, he gave them nothing. I mean, he had absolutely no loyalty whatsoever. That's really bad. Line drive deep to the corner and left. Moving over is McCracken. Chad Curtis checks in with Willie Randolph, and he says, hold up. Brocious is in with a double. At first, the green light was on. First hit of the ball game for the Yankees.
And a typical Scott Brocious hit off the newly painted left field wall. Down in the corner, McCracken plays it well, so Willie Randolph has to hold up Chad Curtis. Yeah, they wanted inside. That's where it was, but Brocious able to turn on it.
So Scott Brocious just misses on a chance to record his 97th RBI. Willie Randolph at first said, go ahead, and then the Devil Rays got the ball in quickly. You see Luis Sojo sharing the lighter side of the moment with Wilson Alvarez. So now 2 in scoring position for Sojo, who flied to center field in his only at bat. This gets the attention of the fans, and it's strike 1. Luis at 227, but he never really had a stretch of consistent play to get himself going. Ground ball played by McGriff, barely. And the Yankees strand 2, but get their first hit through 5. It's 2-0 Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Mike Buddy on his way in. I'm on my way out. Ken Singleton rejoins Jim Cott after Bill Daughtry tells you this.
Yes, indeed, Al. We got a wild card race in the National League. The Giants now just a game behind the Cubs and the New York Mets. Giants with a 6-2 win this afternoon over the Pittsburgh Pirates at 3Com Park. Pitcher getting into the act. Russ Ortiz helping his own cause in a big way. That is Goodwood in the bottom of the second, 2-run shot. His first major league home run puts the Giants up 3-0. Then here's a guy who's used to hitting home runs. Joe Carter in the bottom of the 6th. Joe with a solo shot, a leadoff shot, over the left field wall. That made it 4-1. The Giants now just one game back in that National League wild card race. Now the New York Mets, they close the season in Atlanta. Bruce Chen will start the final regular season series of the year against Rick Reed tomorrow night at 7:30. Mark McGwire, well, he's still looking for number 66. Here he is in the third inning. Javier Vasquez with the curveball that freezes Big Red. He walks away. Cardinals lead this ball game 3-2. That game in the fourth at Busch Stadium. We'll tell you about tonight's Late Show with Marv right after these messages. Correction on that Cardinal score. Tie game now in the bottom of the third. 3-3 Cards and Expos. Coming up tonight on the Late Show with Marv Albert right here at the National Finance Sports Desk. We'll take another look at that wild card picture. Of course, the New York Yankees going for 111 and some anthem singers down at the Meadowlands on the late edition of Sports Desk Now. Back out to Yankee Stadium.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Balk. I committed a balk.
2-0 the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Leading Ken Singleton back now, joining Jim Cott. And Wilson Alvarez had pretty good fastball tonight, hadn't he?
You know, the stuff has always been there. You know, you mentioned he pitched no-hitter in 1991, his second start. But, despite all the full counts, his control has been pretty good when he's needed it tonight.
Here is Mike Buddy coming out of the Yankee bullpen. He's made a couple of starts this year. And he'll face Aaron Ledesma, Tampa Bay's shortstop, who singled and scored in the second inning. Then he popped out. 1 for 2 on the day. Or the evening, I should say. Pitch is low outside, ball 1. Mike Buddy, sinker, slider type pitcher. Ledesma made the error that allowed the Yankees to get their first base runner.
Ouch. Jarred Jorge Posada a little bit right there. Mike Buddy might go down, join Jerzembeck and Bradley at minicamp in Tampa. And you see that spin the mask around of Posada after tonight's game.
They were sent down following last night's ball game. Good slider in for a call strike.
Yeah, even in their pregame preparation, Kenny, the Yankees are starting to, to act like it's postseason time. Normally, about 4:30, the team comes out and they stretch in groups. They get like the extra man, and they'll go down the right field line. But you can kind of tell this last weekend now that it's sort of almost like a team prepares for opening day. Tino will be back in there tomorrow night on his great streak of knocking in runs.
I think they played some of their best baseball in the last 3 weeks to a month, the last few days here. That's 2-2 on Ledesma.
It's kind of like when they broke camp in the spring, we kiddingly said this team could go 162-0 the way they were playing. Of course, they got off to that rocky start.
Another pitch fouled at the plate. The count will remain 2-2 on Ledesma. I think he got part of his back foot or his right foot.
And they could know by tonight, if the Rangers win and the Angels lose, they could know who their opponent is going to be for sure. And then with all the scouting information they have, they can really zero in on who they'd like to play against the Rangers pitcher.
Off the end of the bat, and also they could, pretty much figure out who the Rangers might be pitching against them. And even the players would know, here's who we're going to see in the first game.
And they'll go to the video.
Yeah,
they'll go to the video and check out Rick Helling or Todd Stottlemyre, whoever it is, and try to prepare for their at-bats against him.
Jam shot, fly ball into center field for Bernie Williams. Ledesma fouled off a few pitches, but still can't get one to handle, and he flies out to center. 1 down. There's Wilson Alvarez, a little nervous, but he's ahead in the ball game 2-0. 5 innings pitch, only 1 hit allowed. 6 strikeouts, no walks. David Wells, the Boomers' night is finished. 5 innings, 5 hits, a couple of earned runs. He struck out 5 and walked 3. There is Mike Kelly, who has not been retired tonight. The right fielder has walked and singled. Tampa Bay, unlike a lot of expansion teams, will not lose 100 games this year in their initial season. Good slider for a strike, 1-1. They've already won 63. And I think that's one thing that every expansion team in their first year tries to avoid, losing 100. Of course, I was around for the, I remember the 62 Mets. Kelly swings and misses. And they went way over 100. They lost 120 games. And they were something to watch. They were last in fielding, last in pitching, and last in hitting. 1-2 pitch, little looper towards right field. Shane Spencer moving over towards the gap and makes the catch, and is 2 down. Of course, expansion was different in those days because you could only pick from within your own league. And nowadays, Tampa Bay and both Arizona and Tampa Bay got to choose from all of Major League Baseball.
Plus, you didn't go out and sign free agent. You put a whole expansion team together for $2.5 million in those days. Now, Devil Rays go out and sign a pitcher like Alvarez and, you know, pay him twice that much for 1 year, one player.
Here's Miguel Cairo. Besides the fact, paying about $130 million just to get in the league.
You mentioned the 62 Mets, and I brought up his name last night. The late Richie Ashburn was a part of that team, and he said he'll never forget after the season, the last loss, Casey Stengel, as they came into clubhouse, slapped them all on the back and said, "Keep your head up, guys. No one guy's responsible for this. It was a team effort."
Cat is 0-2 on Cairo. In fact, Richie Ashburn was the most valuable player of that 1962 team. He hit over 300, and his reaction was the most valuable player of what?
Like Don Zimmer was with that team for about 10 days or 2 weeks early in the 62 season.
He went on to Cincinnati from there. Count is 0-2 on Cairo with 2 outs and nobody on, make it 1-2. Guess that second pitch was a ball. That is in the dirt. Scoreboard shows 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Scoreboard also shows, Kenny, that the Red Sox have increased their lead to 9-5 against the Baltimore Orioles. And it's like Nomar Garcia-Parra single-handedly said that we're going to get this team there. He's hit 2 home runs tonight, 2 solo shots. Mo Vaughn with a couple knocks.
Cairo won't chase. Some of the Boston Red Sox got ahead of themselves with Darren Lewis a couple of days ago. It'd be great when we do it. Pitches foul back. Of course, in Boston, you better do it after saying that.
Now slowly the pairings are coming together. We'll know what the matchups will be next Tuesday night. The National League wild card, the race most in doubt.
Pitch hit in the air to left field, and Chad Curtis. So each one of the Yankee outfielders gets a put out here at the top of the 6th inning. Mike Bunny. Scoreless inning for Tampa Bay. 2-0 Rays.